Good morning, everybody. My name is Riddhi Rajawat, and I'm an industrial designer. Today I'll be taking you through what is 3D printing and 3D designing. All right. So, firstly, we shall discuss what do we mean by design. Design means creating something new, creating and building something new, right? So now if we discuss about what do we mean by 2D and 3D shapes, I shall give you a basic example and you have a good one. If you have a good one, just let me know in the comment section. If I talk about a 2D shape, 2D shapes means only one surface is visible, right? Only we can watch only one surface. Now, if I talk about a 3D shape, a 3D form, it refers to a shape which has multiple surfaces, right? So now we know what is design and we know what is a 3D shape. If we combine both of them, what do we get? 3D designing. So, anybody has an idea what do we mean by 3D design? If again I'm telling you, if you have any good examples, please let me know in the comment section. Right now, I shall give you a bit of an introduction of what do we mean by 3D designing. It means building, creating your imaginary 2D concepts into 3D forms, 3D designs. Converting your 2D imaginations into 3D forms is referred to as 3D designing, right? So now many of you must be thinking, how are we going to do this? How are we going to proceed? How can we convert our 2D imagination into 3D concept, right? So if I talk about, if have you heard about Tinkercad? Tinkercad. Tinkercad. Have you heard about it? It's a 3D designing software. It is an open source software. It is available on the net all over Google. You can search it, right? So further in this video, I'll be introducing you what is Tinkercad, how to log in and what are its attributes and how do we work on it. All right. Okay, so through this video, I'll be explaining you 3D designing and 3D printing. If I move forward, like what if I ask you what is 3D? What do we mean by 2D and 3D? 2D means two-dimensional and 3D means three-dimensional. So the difference between both is that 2D shapes are the ones whose only one surface is visible, right? 2D shape is something जिसका सिर्फ एक surface visible है. Whereas if we talk about 3D shapes are something which has multiple surfaces. For example, if I talk about this cuboid, so it has multiple surfaces aligned, right? This is the top view, this is the bottom view, this is the left and right and difference, right? So a cube and a cuboid has 6 faces, so they are considered as 3D shapes. Whereas if I talk about anything 2D, anything which is plain, anything which only has one surface, it will be considered as 2D. Okay, so what if I combine both of these terms? Like, firstly, we learn what is design, afterwards, we learn what is 3D. So, if I combine both of these words, it will be 3D designing. You must be thinking, what do we mean by 3D designing? 3D designing is a tool which helps you create your imagination or convert your imagination into 3D products or 3D forms. All right. So moving forward, this is a basic example on what is 2D and 3D, right? So you will be able to see the square and the triangle on left side are plane surfaces, only have one surface. Whereas if I talk about the right side, I have a cube and a conical shape which have multiple surfaces. Okay. So moving forward, it is what is 3D printing? So process of making real objects from digital designs. Like what I said, 3D printing or 3D designing is a way through which you can convert your 2D imagination or your digital designs into real objects, into physical products. All right, so it works layer by layer. What do we mean by layer by layer? Right? We will create one by one. We will build or we will create one by one layer, two layer like this. Okay, so also called additive manufacturing. What do we mean by additive manufacturing? Additive means something is adding on, right? Something is multiplying, something is adding. So a manufacturing process in which the layers are adding or the work is adding is known as additive manufacturing, and 3D printing is an example of that. Okay. So for example, toys, keychains and robot parts could be printed by 3D printers, right? You can print anything you choose, anything you like. So moving forward, here's a fun fact that NASA uses 3D printing in space. Astronauts print tools when needed. So now you have an idea, you have an information that 3D printing is not a small thing, is not a basic concept, because NASA is also using it, right? So astronaut print their tools, or maybe some rocket parts could be printed from 3D printers. So it is that important. That's why this video is important for you guys. Okay. So like now you'll be asking, or you must be thinking, how can we do 3D designing? How can we perform 3D models? How can we build 3D designing models, right? So we have certain tools for that. Okay. So if I begin, the first one is Tinkercad for beginners level. Second is Fusion 360 for advanced level, and then is Blender for animations also. So right now, this is an introduction video. This is a beginner's level video. So we'll begin with Tinkercad. We'll focus on Tinkercad. Now I'll give you a basic introduction like on how it works. You have to basically search Tinkercad on Google. Okay, it's tinkercad.com. This window would appear in your screen. Okay, so if you already have an account, just log in, or you can sign up with your Gmail ID or basic necessities also. So I already have an account, so I will just log in with my Google. I will just log in with my Gmail account. Once I log in, this window will appear. Okay, so this is the first window you'll be screening after you log in into Tinkercad. So then if I go on to create, it will give me 3 attributes of this software. One more thing, guys, this software is open source for everybody. You can access it on your laptops or your PCs anytime you want. So we have 3 attributes: 3D design, circuits, and code blocks. So firstly, we'll begin with 3D design. Okay. So after clicking it, you will be watching the logo of Tinkercad on the screen while it's loading. Okay. So then this window will appear on the screen. So this blue shape is known as work plane. Whatever you create, whatever you build will be created on this work plane. Okay. So I'll give you a basic introduction. I'll take you through the entire software once so that you're comfortable doing it. Okay. So if I come on the right side, I have a list of shapes. I have categories of shapes, right? So these are for beginners level, basic shapes it is known as. And if I drag down this menu, so I have number of categories like letters and numbers, design starters, creatures and characters, vehicles and machines, and everything, and many more. So it just purely depends on what you are wishing to create. So you can pick your appropriate shape from here. Okay. So if I'll go to basic shapes and I drag down a cube over the plane. Okay. So firstly, I can watch the cube over here will help you watching all the views on the work plane. Like I can rotate this like this. I can watch all the views. I can watch a 360 view of this cube. Okay. And if I click on the cube, I'll be having a drag down option over here through which I can change its color. Like if I wish, I can make it red or blue or any color I wish. Okay. So if I go with pink, on one more option, if I want to make this hollow, like with no color, I can also do that. Okay. So you'll be able to see this is hollow. It has no colors and we can see through it right now. And if I wish to continue with the color, I can go with that. Okay. I can change these shades. All right. So I now have changed the color, but if now I talk about its other attributes, such as its thickness, its sharpness, its height, width, and everything. So again, the drop down menu is front of you guys. So first option is radius. What do we mean by radius? Radius is something which will make its corners very soft. Like for example, if I increase this radius, its corners would be softened. Are you able to see that? Okay. And if I do that for a certain distance, it will be converted into a sphere. Okay. So, but we don't have to move on to that. We don't have to do that. This option is for if I want to make my cubes soften, right? Okay. So next thing we have steps. You'll be able to see the changes, right? There are lines, there are gaps on it. If I zoom in, if I take the different views on it, I'll be able to see steps over the edges, right? The edges have certain steps which I can create or subtract or add. Okay. So but I don't need that. Okay. I don't need the steps or I don't need the radius instead. I just want a pure cube. This is for example only. So its length can be changed. Right now it is a cube, right? With all the phases equal. But if I exceed it, it can be converted into a cuboid. I can change its width also. Okay, if I want to make it bigger or smaller, it's in my hands. I can change its height also. All right, then also zooming out, I can have a view like what I have created. If I change something, zoom in and zoom out, or have a 360 view of the image, I can have an understanding like what I have created, what is wrong with it, or what should be improved. Okay. So this is a basic example. This is a basic video for making you comfortable with 3D designing and what is Tinkercad. One more option, if I don't wish on working with these shapes, I can simply hide them and I can go on this import option, which tells me I can choose a file from my computer, from my PC or my laptop, or from import from URL. Suppose you watch a 3D model over the internet and you wish to work on that. So you can just import its URL, copy its link, paste it here, and you can work on that file. Or either you have it downloaded in your PC or laptop, you can just choose a file over here and start working upon it. All right, so this was a basic video, this was a basic introduction on what is 3D printing, 3D designing, and Tinkercad. All right, so moving forward, I'll be giving you more videos जिसमें कि we can create bigger projects. So please tune on.